Hey everyone, today I'm going to show you how to install .NET on Linux Mint 22 so you can start developing C# applications. I'm running Linux Mint 22, the Cinnamon edition. Let's jump in. First, let's open a web browser. Microsoft has a dedicated page with step-by-step instructions for installing .NET on Linux. The link to this page is in the description below. Now, this page is primarily designed for Ubuntu, but it works perfectly on Linux Mint since Mint is based on Ubuntu. From the drop-down, I'll select Ubuntu 24.04 because this is the Ubuntu version that Linux Mint 22 is based on. Next, let's open the terminal. Scroll down a bit, and you'll see instructions to install two versions of .NET. The latest available version, which is .NET 9, and the latest long-term support version, which is .NET 8. I'm going to go with .NET 8 since that's the LTS version. Copy the command from the website to install the .NET 8 SDK and run it. It only took a couple of minutes on my system. After the SDK is installed, we'll also need to install the runtime so we can run .NET applications. Again, copy the command from the page and run it. Now you might wonder, what's the difference between the ASP.NET Core runtime and the .NET runtime? Well, the ASP.NET Core runtime includes everything needed to build and run web applications, while the .NET runtime is a bit lighter with fewer features. For most people, going with the ASP.NET Core runtime makes more sense, so that's what I'm installing here. To verify the installation, type .NET-version in the terminal, and you should see the installed version number. This means everything is set up and you're ready to start developing. Next, let's install Visual Studio Code, a great editor for working with C#. Go to code.visualstudio.com and download the .deb package for Linux. Once the file is downloaded, navigate to your Downloads folder in the terminal and install it using the command sudo apt install. Once the installation is complete, open Visual Studio Code. Now that Visual Studio Code is ready, let's set it up for C#. Go to the Extensions tab on the left, search for C#, and install the C# Dev Kit by Microsoft. This includes all the tools you'll need for developing C# applications. The installation might take a few minutes, so be patient. Let's create our first project. Start by creating a workspace folder for your projects. Click Open Folder and create a new folder for your C# applications. Once that's done, open the command palette by pressing Ctrl-Shift-P, type New Project, and select .NET New Project from the options. You'll be prompted to choose a project template. For this tutorial, I'll go with a simple console application. Next, you'll give your project a name. Following common conventions, I'm naming the project and solution after the folder I just created. Select the default directory, and you'll see additional options. For example, you can choose whether to disable top-level statements. However, I'll stick with the defaults. Once you confirm, Visual Studio Code will generate all the necessary files for your project. You'll see the solution file along with a folder containing the .csproj file and the program.cs file, which is where your main code will go. To build and run your application, just click the Run button in Visual Studio Code. Your program will compile and execute. In this case, the default output is Hello World. And that's it. You've successfully set up .NET and C# on Linux Mint, installed Visual Studio Code, and created your first project.